Bush team has sent out a memo to administration officials. It's a 2-page memo, and it is called Speech Topper on the Bush Record. What is it for? It's when they give speeches, they should talk about how great Bush is at the end, so that everybody is on the same page, and they should use the same talking points on how terrific a president George W. Bush has. So the first thing they tell them to do is talk about how George Bush has restored honor and dignity to the White House. Come again? You serious, man? You still going with this rap? Honor and dignity to the White House? After they outed a CIA agent, and then they pardoned the guy who did it, commuted his sentence at least. They started a war with Iraq based on completely made-up intelligence, and they tortured people. They tortured people, man. Do you remember the story from yesterday? They gave no-bid contracts to KBR, Halliburton, and so many other companies that went, and in case of Blackwater, shot up the place, killed innocent civilians. In case of KBR, poisoned our troops, got all those people killed in Iraq, 4,000 of our guys, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians. I mean, I could go on days and days and days. The warrantless wiretapping, violations of the Constitution, ignored the Geneva Conventions, and at the end, they give out a memo saying George Bush restored honor and dignity to the White House? Please. Now they say, hey, look, this is not mandatory that you put it in your speech, but we highly suggest it. And they say, talk about the other great accomplishments of George Bush. And I was like, I got to see this. Okay, what other great accomplishments? Well, how he rescued the economy after 2001 recession and what happened with 9/11, of course, through the tax cuts. How George Bush rescued the economy? Have they seen the economy? I mean, come on, seriously, are they kidding? I mean, go with something else, right? But don't mention the economy. Shush on the economy. Their speech topper is, he brought honor and dignity, and he fixed the economy. Okay, what else? Well, he says that also remind people that George Bush has kept America safe after the September 11th terrorist attacks. Unless, of course, you're counting the DC sniper, the anthrax attacks, possible new anthrax attacks, the bombing of our embassy in Yemen, the 4,000 some odd people we lost in Iraq, let alone the private contractors that died in Iraq, let alone the Iraqi civilians, but they're not Americans, so they don't count, let alone the people we lost in Afghanistan. But no, none of those matter, let alone the bombings of all of our allies, nearly almost all of them, England, Spain, Turkey, and the list goes on and on. But don't worry, and terrorism has increased dramatically since 9/11, but George Bush has kept you safe. Do you feel safe? You feel safe? The only one I'll give him is, they say that he has curbed AIDS in Africa and that he has spent some considerable time and energy on that. Has he curbed AIDS in Africa? No, but he's tried a little bit. Hey, fair is fair, man. He, gave a good deal of money to that cause, and I know he did it in counterproductive ways a lot of times. Worked against condoms and any kind of thing related to sex, which is a problem because AIDS is passed through sex. And so, in a lot of ways, it was their actions there were stupid too. But at least he tried in his own dumb way, and he did spend a lot of money on it. So, all right, if I was doing the speech topper for Bush, I'd say, well, he tried about AIDS in Africa. I'll see you later. I mean, he ain't got nothing else, okay? Honor and dignity. That's the part that drives me crazy.